Hi, guys. This is Sarah from Weird Horizon Podcast, and you are listening to Bigfoot Club Podcast.
Hey, guys. Please go to our website at www.bigfootclubpodcast.com. Check out our merch and all episodes. Also, please look for our social media at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Bigfoot Club 1. That's Bigfoot Club number 1. Also, check out Matt Knapp's Bigfoot Crossroads on YouTube. Check out our new sponsor. For your Bigfoot-sized coffee cravings, visit cbgindustries.store. They have over 40 products to choose from. When you enter promo code FIRSTSIP, you will receive a discount on your first order. Remember, every moment has its flavor.
Hey everybody, Robert Jesse Dominguez, Bigfoot Club, Season 5, Episode 8. I'm here with my nephew, Steven. Steven, say what's up.
What's up?
Hey man, we haven't done a show in a while.
I know. It's been like, what, a month?
Maybe. It's like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Not since the great hot sauce incident.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is right. Yeah. We did the hot sauce, which was great.
Which was episode 100.
Yes. And that was, those hot sauces were, the hottest one was actually my favorite.
Which one?
Did we talk about which one was our favorite?
The last one.
It was like the real, like, we're like, oh, this is going to be super hot. And it actually had more flavor.
It had flavor, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you dipped all 3.
I dipped all 3 and I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. But no, it was when we went to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And we went to a concert. We went to Cat Fest 2023. Saw I Prevail, Bad Omens, my favorite band right now, and Godsmack.
Godsmack, all right, right on.
Yeah, Sully was great, man. I didn't think he was gonna.
Is he pretty good live?
Yes, he was. He's surprised because I saw a lot of YouTube videos. I guess it's just the YouTube video quality. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, Sully sounds kind of rough. I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy this, but he sounded great, and he tried really hard not to curse because they were at a zoo. It's a zoo amphitheater, and he was all like, yeah, you know.
Do they have kids there?
Yeah, there was like kids. There was babies there. So he was all like, yeah, I'm not gonna try to curse, and he goes, I don't understand. Like, it was like super quiet because we're all tired. Mm-hmm. He goes, I don't understand why there's 12,000 people in this place, and it can be that fucking quiet. Oh shit, I cursed. Damn it. Oh well, there we go. You got me started now. So it was a good concert.
So did you get dehydrated at all?
No, we did not.
Good.
We drank a lot of water, and we Blair got me into the liquid IV hydration powder things, so you put it in water, and it's really good. I'm not trying to sponsor them or push them or anything.
Hey, speaking of sponsor, we have a new sponsor.
We do.
You want to say who it is?
It's former co-host Chris Collips.
Yes.
He is doing his own, I think it's cbgindustries.store.
Yes.
Coffee, and he's going to set us up by sending us some coffee, so that way we can, I don't know, hopefully whenever we do get it.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be our thing now. If people want to send us stuff to try to push, well, I'm for it.
Right.
If you want to eat it or drink
send us hot sauce,
send
coffee.
Us hot coffee. You know, keep us up at night because we're doing this at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fantastic. But yeah, Chris Collips.
So also today, I am super duper excited. We have all the way from Alabama. In the shed was Wes Anderson. Wes, welcome to the club.
Hey guys, I'm here.
Hey.
Thank you so much for having me on the show tonight.
Hey man, thanks for coming on. First of all, I just want to tell you, I'm a big fan of your show, and I know we're not from. I know your biggest like draw is like in India, so.
Yes.
But I am a big fan of your show. Like I've told you before, I don't really watch the news. I kind of get the news from your show. And so I just want to tell you I'm a big fan of the show, and you I know you reached out to me like in 2021 whenever I was still sick, and you reached out to me and asked me to come on your show, and I go, man, I was really honored because I wasn't even doing a show then, and you asked me to come on your show. So I think I was maybe the second guest on your show at the time.
Man, you were the first guest I ever had.
Okay,
you were, yeah. Super honored to be here. For you to say you're a fan of my show is incredibly kind. I have like 120 people that listen to my show every episode, whereas you guys have over 50,000 downloads. And of my my 120 people, like you said, 48 of them are from India. So thank you for even listening to my show, let alone coming on as a guest and just being an all-around good guy and friend. And we'll find out tonight if Steven likes me.
Wes, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just, like, I guess bury the hatchet. It's not really it's not nothing to bury or anything. But I will say this, because when you said I wonder if Steven's gonna like me, I automatically love you because you helped my uncle get out of his funk.
Yeah.
And what I mean by funk is that he was going through a very, very dark period in his life where, you know, he wasn't too sure if he had the strength mentally, physically, and emotionally to get up and push forward through physical therapy to walk again and all that stuff. And he was even saying that, and he didn't even tell me this, that he doesn't want to do podcasts anymore. And you got him out of that funk, and for that, I love you, man. Like, it just a simple reaching out and asking him to come on your show and all that stuff, just to talk. I think that's what motivated him even more. And
I'm honored by that.
You are definitely the middle piece of the puzzle that got him full again. So
yeah, Wes, I don't know if I told you that like whenever you reached out to me, I was not happy with my, with the progress I was doing. I was still like in a wheelchair, I think at the time. And, I was not happy with the physical therapy that I was going through. And I was at a pretty dark, spot. And I was living with my brother, and he was wanting me to set up the podcast stuff in the next room. And I told him I didn't want to do it because I just, I wanted to focus on me. And then you reached out to me, and then I think you reached out to me, and then Terry Kegel reached out to me, and
both from Alabama.
Yeah, both from Alabama, and y'all both reached out to me. Y'all both asked me to be on y'all's show, and I go, man, I must, they must think, I'm all right just to go on their show. So I better get the gear out. So I got my brother. He pulled out all all the gear, and so I got ready for your show and his show. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Man, that's so cool. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, I've always been interested in Bigfoot and paranormal, and I was trying to find a good podcast about Bigfoot, and I started listening to 3 or 4 different ones and immediately cut them off because I didn't like the person's accent or the content. I found Bigfoot Club. I listened to 15, 20 episodes. I had just started my own podcast, wasn't very good at it, didn't know what I was doing. I reached out to Bob, I think on Twitter, and he was like, why don't you just call me? And so I called him, and we talked for like an hour and a half, and I was like, this guy is so cool. He's so nice and helpful. He gave me some tips about how to record, and then he was like, I'll be on your show on Friday. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I don't know. I'm ready. I don't know. Yeah. That sounds like Robert. Yeah.
You know what I would really like is for you and Terry Kegel to get together. That's what I would like really, that too. I would really like, because I know you're War Eagle. He's Roll Tide, but
yeah.
So
it's okay
because he has a really good show. You got a really good show. You're both from Alabama.
Right.
I think you guys should collaborate. And I've told him that. I said you need to reach out to Wes. He's a good dude. And
he does Porch Matters. Is that his show?
Yes, he does.
Okay, yeah, he does a good job. I've listened to his show several times.
Yeah, I think both of you like
y'all both got the voice.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
like,
Wes.
Your voice is like, it's very smooth, and it's like, you don't even need to get me a drink, to get things rolling. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think
buy me a drink first now. Just talk.
I'm all warm and fuzzy.
I think this is just me. I think you could do play-by-play for Kentucky basketball.
Oh man, that would be a dream. Yeah.
So,
I agree.
I agree. But I was going to ask you, man, what got you into podcasting? What is the spark that got Wes Anderson, to get microphones and go to his shed and start doing his show on politics and sports and the paranormal?
I don't even know, Bob. I've always listened to podcasts for a long time. Always kind of had the idea that one day maybe I would do one. I think I just got to that point. You have a couple of kids, life gets busy. You start to kind of lose track of yourself in all of the hassle of being a parent, and you need an outlet. You need a hobby. And I had a couple of things that I did from time to time. but I wanted to try, and so I just put the money out there and got me a little microphone, and I already had a shed that occupied space in the backyard, and it's the only quiet place that I have, having 2 kids, 7 and under, and so I just kind of came out here and just gave it my best shot. I've had a good time. I've learned a lot, and I'm just a different kind of cat. I have a wide range of interests, and so I started thinking, am I going to do a show about sports? I could do one about politics. I don't know. I really like the paranormal. Maybe a news show. I kind of thought maybe I'll just limit it to an hour, an episode. And then I said, nah, I'm just going to do it all. I'm going to do all 3.
I think that's the way to do it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's, when you have a podcast, you automatically think, well, it has to be something, a segment, like just always talking about that particular topic. Honestly, just, talk about everything. Because I think we did the same thing. Like, you had your wrestling thing, and you did that for a while, and then you separated it. We still, we still talk about wrestling, but I'm like,
it's very limited.
It's very limited, but we talk about movies, we talk about, music, we talk about video games, or, just anything.
Justin Timberlake.
Right. Justin Timberlake. And then we talk about other, we try to push other people that with their podcasts, and,
Look, I love when you guys talk about Justin Timberlake.
We do too.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite callbacks, honestly.
Yeah, I had to limit the music on it, because whenever I loaded it on YouTube, I got hit all the time.
Copyrighted
hits all the time. So I had to hold back. We just got to talk about him. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can always just talk about Justin Timberlake, Man in the Woods.
Yeah,
name an album, literally Man of the Woods.
What's better? What's better? I always tell people when they say they're going to do a podcast and they ask for advice, which I've had about 3 people now ask me for advice, so I think that's something. And
that's cool.
I just tell them, just do whatever you find interesting. Don't make a show that is for what you think people want to hear or what might be popular. Just do what you find interesting and be authentic to yourself.
Yep.
I think with your show, I usually listen to it either driving into work, because it's like 45 minutes for me to drive into work. And
is it really?
Yeah, with traffic. So even coming back,
it's a long haul.
Yeah, same way. It's the same way coming back. So I usually listen to your show. I know I've said this on our show before. I don't know how you do it by yourself, because I could not do it by myself. And you are a class act. I'm not just saying it because you're on the show. I'm just saying because, man, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, I think that's.
Sure you could, Bob. Sure,
because I think I asked you that too. I go, Wes Anderson. I go, in the shed. I go, does he talk with, or does he have a co-host? Like, no, he does it by himself. I go, what?
Yeah.
Well, that's just a lack of friends. That's all that is. It's a lack of friends.
No, it just means that that you're a big time parent.
Yeah,
that's what it means.
Well, yes.
Solo in the mic, and hey, everybody loved Ice Cube after he left NWA. So
yeah, of course.
So I'm Ice Cube. Okay,
yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah.
You're the Ice Cube. You're the Ice Cube of India.
So, shout out to my boy Ramesh from India.
Ramesh, that's right.
That's my guy.
I had a question on this particular. Whenever the first thing that came to my mind, whenever Robert told me about you, he's like, in the shed. I go, he actually does it in the shed. I go, oh, okay. That's the first thought that came to my mind is like, does he ever run into any bugs while he's trying to, record something? A snake or some type of critter where you're just like, hey, this is Wes Anderson. Like, oh shit, and then sees a freaking, I don't know. Do you ever come across anything like that? Knock on wood, if you haven't.
The thing is, fellas, I'm in Alabama, so yes, I do deal with bugs and so forth. But there's actually an armadillo that is my arch nemesis that lives underneath my shed.
Oh,
and,
so he's your co-host.
He is my enemy.
Okay.
That Joker is digging holes. I'm trying to get him out of here. I see him every 3 weeks when I leave the shed after recording the show, and we just glare at each other. Give him that hard stare. What's that? Paddington Bear, the hard stare.
Yeah.
You got kids. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Did I ever do that to you?
No.
Okay, I was too scared to do that.
No, you didn't. I would throw you across the room.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, have you tried traps with this guy? Traps with armadillo?
No, I have poured some things into his hole, is what I should say. I've been told that's how you get rid of an armadillo. You close up his hole. But he's a tough little guy. I'm actually kind of impressed with him. As much as I despise him, he's kind of impressive. And I hear that they take care of some of the bugs and snakes and stuff. So maybe I should just let him be. I don't know.
Well, if you ever change your mind, because I used to, one of the jobs I had was over by USBC. It's a United States Bowling Congress. We were right next to the Six Flags, and every time Six Flags closed, we would get all the critters coming over, and they would like dig under, our building and stuff.
Yeah, you had like multiple skunks.
Yeah,
raccoons, right?
Raccoons, possums, weasels.
Possums, yeah. Weasels?
Yeah,
that's feral children, maybe.
Yeah,
did you have some feral children under there?
Man.
Yeah. So I was gonna tell you the best thing that works, and this is what I went through, like sardines, dog food, cat food, whatever. The best thing that works is dry dog food. Get you some Snickers, bite, chew on it, spit it on your hand, pack it together.
I'm sorry, that's a waste of a Snickers.
It is a waste.
You don't do that. You don't just I'm going to eat it.
I'm afraid I would just eat it. I don't think.
Well, here's the whole thing by the Snickers, because cats don't like chocolate. So if you don't want to catch a cat, because you'll catch a feral cat in these cages, so you put chocolate with it, so it takes the cat out of the equation. And then, like other critters, they'll just go to it. It's like their kryptonite.
The assortment of knowledge that you have is just phenomenal, Robert Jesse Dominguez.
He has taken down a lot of critters. I'll say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken pictures of it. And it's like, man, I think I caught like 40 skunks and like
40 skunks.
Yeah,
you would fit in great in my town.
You can make that your second job or something.
I know.
Been like
the skunk whisper.
The skunk whisper. Yeah,
that's a show. That's a show right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh man,
skunk whisper. You see that? And you see that? And he's gonna try and spray me, but I'm not gonna let it happen.
So I know we kind of got off a little bit, but Wes, so nothing, no spark. What got you going to do a show, and you could say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do a show on politics. Sports,
man,
and the paranormal.
I think I just listened to some of these other podcasts and thought I can do that. It is really all it was. I needed something to do. I was looking for a hobby. I already listened to a bunch of podcasts. I did try. I tried to do one. The other guy, Terry Cagle, does the Porch Matters. I think the first iteration that I tried but never published was a sports podcast called. I think I called it like Front Porch Sports or something, and I like planned the whole thing out almost word by word, recorded one episode and was like, that was horrible. It was really bad. So I thought I'm going to try again, but I'm not going to script it all. I'm just going to pick some topics, some things that I'm passionate about or that I find interesting. I kind of widen my view and my angle a little bit. And that's kind of, I had the shed and was looking for a name, and I was going to call it like News from the Shed. And my wife said, that is a horrible name. So she set me straight. She said, just call it In the Shed. And I said, well, I'm going to call it In the Shed with Wes Anderson, because maybe somebody out there is a fan of the movie director and will search for his name and find me by mistake.
That's a good, I like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
I like to call it accidental advertising.
Yeah.
So that's how I get most of my listeners, I think.
I think it'd be funny is like if they actually go to the director and be like, I really like your podcast. He's like, what? Who? Look, he looks you up.
He goes, wow.
That would be phenomenal.
Son of a bitch.
That would be wild.
Yeah. I like the name In the Shed. It's straight to the point. Man. It's just, is it catchy? Is it?
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's catchy. I think it's
easy to remember. There you go. That's what I was looking for. It's easy to remember. In the Shed, Wes Anderson.
Yeah, because like you got the shed and then you got the porch, and like I don't know, I just kind of gravitated to both of those guys. So,
yeah,
but
very cool.
Shout out to Terry Kegel.
We just got to find another Alabama guy that's like in the house.
Yeah. Nah. This is good enough. I like Wes. I like Terry.
You know, I tried to record an episode from my kitchen. See, the other thing I deal with being in the shed is weather. So I'm out here, all types of, like right now, it's probably 82 degrees in my shed. It's a little balmy. Got a little breeze coming in the door that's cracked from the northwest, and the smell of my neighbor's trash burning. I have a neighbor that, he does what I call cracktivities, activities at night that are inspired by his drug use, I think.
Right. Wow.
He burns leaves at 12 a.m. or he has the leaf blower on his roof at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's very entertaining when nothing's on TV. But yeah, so I tried one time. It was too cold. I think it was like 18 degrees outside, and I tried to record an episode from the kitchen, and it just didn't work. You could hear the refrigerator humming and all the different noises. There's just nowhere else I can record, so I'm just stuck out here no matter the weather.
It's tough. I mean, it is tough. I mean, we got to put Steven's boys down at 7, so because normally they would come out and tell us that they're got to pee, even though we would tell them, because you don't need to tell us, just go.
Yeah, or they're like, hey, I got to wash my hands. Okay. All right.
They need their third or fourth drink of water. For
yeah.
Them,
Yeah. Well, one of them should not be drinking anything. He's got a heavy bladder, and
it happens.
He has a colonel cannon.
Mm-hmm, yep.
He's got that cannon on him,
and he's a heavy sleeper. So sometimes he wets the bed, and I'm all like,
he's gonna hate us whenever he grows up.
Why are you talking about this, Daddy? Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, well, we have in our house this week, I've got a daughter who's 7 and a son that just turned 3, and they actually both have a case of flu B right now. So I was at home with the kids while Mama was at work today, and I'm just out here. I'm dodging the flu like a guest on Maury Povich would dodge a paternity test. I'm just trying not to get sick. And but hey, I grew up drinking from the hose and walking barefoot in Walmart and swimming in the creek, so I don't think any virus or flu can get me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I get you.
Hey, I was going to ask you, were you happy with the USFL winner last year?
Birmingham?
Yeah.
I actually got to go to a game.
Because they did all the games there, right? At Birmingham?
They did, yeah. I think this year they're doing them in other places, but last year it was all in Birmingham. So I got to go to a game. It was fun. I don't really keep up with USFL. It's kind of, minor league-esque, but it was pretty fun live.
Yeah.
And then what was it this year?
They're actually playing right now.
Oh.
Are they playing?
Yeah.
Oh.
I want to say they're playing in Detroit, I think.
Oh.
So,
okay.
Who's the Arlington Renegades?
That was XFL.
XFL?
Yeah.
So they're the ones.
It's hard to keep them straight.
Yeah. Since they're bringing the USFL, and then I didn't even know about USFL until Robert told me. He goes, "Hey, USFL." I'm like, "What? What is that? What is that?"
Which one has The Rock involved?
The XFL.
XFL.
Okay, XFL. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Is that going to flop?
Well, it already finished. It finished already.
Oh, okay. Just like his DC career.
Oh! Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Pew 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 pew. So, I was just going to say that I really enjoy listening to the politics on your show. I mean, I personally, we don't talk politics on our show. We just don't. And it's nothing against your show. I love your show, but I don't know. I just don't think Bigfoot and politics just they don't mix to me. It doesn't.
But sometimes they do, Bob. Sometimes.
That's what I always brought this up. I think I've told you this too.
Go.
I go. Remember? I think it was a couple months ago, and you were probably in that mood where you were just like saying, yeah, and weren't really listening.
Yeah.
But I was saying, like, I go, what if if there's like something that is run on the paranormal community or zoology, I guess, whatever, the Bigfoot and their community, there's always a leader. There's always like a head of the pack.
You mean alpha?
An alpha.
Right. So,
and his decisions and what he does and says has changed, whatever, blah blah blah. We're gonna move east or move west, but they don't want to. One was like, no, we want to stay put here because we're close to food, we're close to wherever. No, we just got to keep migrating.
I see your point.
You see what I mean, like that?
Yeah.
It sounds stupid when you're like hearing it, but it's always like something like that. There's always some type of politics in animals everywhere. Like, 'cause there's always an alpha that's making the calls, making the shots, and all that stuff.
Somewhere there's a Joe Biden of the Sasquatch world falling up the stairs.
Yeah.
Like that Bigfoot that broke his leg.
You know what? I will say though. If a Bigfoot is actually found, like say for example Texas, okay, if a Bigfoot's found in Texas, in East Texas, then if it's found in that area, then it's going to be protected. It's going to be protected, and then it's going to affect like lumber. It's going to affect lumber and everything that's in that area. Any kind of expansion, any kind of commercial growth, it's going to affect it. And so,
Right.
and if you find it like in Alabama, then it's going to be protected there. So I think, politics wise, I think, cause I don't know if I told you this, Wes, but, whenever I was doing research in East Texas, we were hounded by, park rangers and game wardens, and they didn't
Right.
want us in the area. And so I had a buddy that was, like a retired constable. And so he used to tell us on, he had a radio, he still had his old radio. And he said, "Hey man, these guys know that you're in town, so you really need to be careful." So they would never say, talk about an unclassified animal. So if we were to talk about politics that way, the only thing I would think of that would probably happen with, from our perspective.
It bleeds through.
Yeah,
If they get found anywhere, it affects the area.
That's interesting. First of all, I didn't know they had constables in Texas, so that's cool. I thought constable, that's an old term. I like that, Bob. Throwback. But I kind of wonder, even if they found a Bigfoot, I don't know that we would ever hear about it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that
it would
well known.
It would be like, it almost have to be like someone was either streaming really live. A university would probably have to be involved. They would probably have other news outlets there at the same time. And that's going to be, really rare. That actually happens. But, cause like, you're right. I mean, cause like I've heard stories of, Bigfoots getting hit by trains or 18-wheelers, and, people on black vans show up and scoop it up and it's gone. I've heard stories about that.
I've heard those stories too. Yeah. Of them finding one and then somebody coming up and picking, some government agency shows up and takes it away, and nothing ever comes of it.
Hey, what county do you live in?
I live in Baldwin County, Alabama, down here by Fairhope and Gulf Shores, kind of close to the beach, that area.
Baldwin, okay.
Okay, we just found your house.
I think we've actually had a Bigfoot sighting or two that has been reported to the BFRO.
Yes, I was just about to say that. There's
Wes is already on top of it.
He's on top of it.
He's so humble and says, "Oh, I'm not really that good." No, you are. You got the voice, and you don't sound nervous at all. Actually,
I think the most recent sight was in November 2021.
Really?
Oh wow, more recent than I thought. Okay, interesting.
It was 5 miles north, 5 miles northeast of Gulf Shores. So I mean, you got a lot of Bigfoot. I was telling Terry this. I said you got a lot of Bigfoot in your area because he's in Walker County, and so he's got Bigfoot there. I told him, I said, you got a bunch of Bigfoot there. And I think he used to do truck driving, and I don't think he does it anymore. I think he does, but I think he's a dispatcher now, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So, but I just wanted your take on that, on Bigfoot. What's your thought on Bigfoot and stuff?
Man, I kind of go back and forth on it. I've always found it interesting, even since I was a kid.
I mean, you can be honest.
I remember, I think I was in middle school and got a book from the library. Mm-hmm. I will be honest. I got a book about Sasquatch in like 7th grade. And so I've always been interested in it. I think if I had to say, I would probably be 51 to 49 that Bigfoot or something that we see as Bigfoot is real. Mm-hmm. I would like there to be more convincing evidence. Tree knocking and some of the things that people cite as evidence I've never experienced firsthand myself.
Right.
So to me, having not been in the field, those things aren't as convincing. I have seen a couple of good pieces of video. I did read the book, Sasquatch Legend Meets Science. I think we talked about that when you were on my show. Mm-hmm. That was a very interesting book. It kind of approached things from a scientific point of view.
Correct.
And then I even look at historically something like Gigantopithecus. So I don't know. I think that there definitely could be something. I think with all the sightings that people are definitely seeing.
Yeah, I think from
something out there. I couldn't tell you what it is, and I'm open to it all.
Because I think whenever I first started, when Steven would go with me, how old were you whenever you were like 7?
7, 6 maybe.
Whatever.
It was literally, I just joined football, Pee Wee.
Yeah.
Right. The minor league or whatever.
Yeah, I used to take Steven in the field with me, and
oh my God, I hate it. I remember I was like, I get.
Were you terrified?
I was terrified. Yes, as a kid, I'm over here like, we're gonna go camping. No, there's more to it. We're going to be looking for something that, has never been proven, and it could possibly hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
And that was always my first thought of that. I was like, what if I can't protect? I wasn't scared myself. I was like, what if I can't protect Uncle Robert? Love this dude so much. So I was like, man, I don't want to put him in danger. I'm a 7-year-old worried about that. You always made my anxiety.
You're probably thinking Uncle Robert he's not very fast. What if this thing comes and I have to make a decision?
At that time,
he was Robert.
He had knees up to his chest, jumping over like huge tables.
Okay.
So he was in shape. I was not, but I was like, I gotta protect him.
Well, it was something like to be in the field and stuff and I would take Steven with me and so I would show him stuff and because I've never seen one. I know you've never seen one, but we've heard
eyes, heard some stuff, rocks thrown at us.
Now, tell me about that, because that's something that I've heard from multiple people that have had actual experiences. When you say rocks thrown at you, describe what that was like.
So I know we went out to this one area. We were actually meeting this one group that was doing they were a paranormal group, and so they were going to this slave cemetery to go do some EVPs. So
last time I was scared.
Yeah.
Last time I was scared, and then Luke pushed that away.
Yeah, thank you.
So we went out to go. We went out to go be with them, and I kind of noticed that there was some Bigfoot reports in that same area. So we tagged along, and it was like me, Steven, my mentor Luke Gross, was Billy, and I think Tim was with us as well. Cassius.
Tim was with us.
Yeah, he was with us, and so we went out, and they were doing their EVP stuff. And after they were finished, we did a couple tree knocks, we did a couple yells, and within it was like 5 minutes, we got a call from the right, probably 2 miles away, probably about 2 miles away. You could barely hear it, and we did another call, and then we had another one to our left. It was closer, and then it just got closer and closer, Wes. And then someone noticed there was a creek bed to our left, and the road was behind us, probably a good 100 yards. And there was a creek bed to our left, and somebody had a flashlight, and they were flashing to the left. And I go, we got eye shine, and everybody looked, and we all saw eye shine at least about 7-8 feet off the ground.
There was one that was really low. I don't know if that was a junior one
or a baby,
and then there was one that was really high. And we that's whenever I think we stayed I think you were keep the light on it.
Yeah.
Do not move, keep the light on. And that's whenever something across the street
was
throwing rocks at us, and then we dumbasses, we what the fuck was that?
Because you could hear because we were in this canopy, Wes, of trees, and you could hear these rocks from across the street hitting all these branches and leaves, just pop, 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 and they would hit the ground. And we go, someone's throwing rocks at us across the street, and we turned. And as soon as we turned, those eye shines were gone. And at that moment,
that's interesting.
Yeah, at that moment, maybe 30 seconds, a truck was hauling down the street, and it went past us, right past where that
tree line,
that tree line and that creek met up on the road, and that truck slammed on the brakes. Remember that, Steven?
Yep.
Slammed on the brakes, backed up, and we ran to the road. It backed up and then took off again. And so it was
no doubt in my mind that they saw something, because why the hell he was going 70, 70 on that road, and we're that first thought I was he's gonna fucking scare the Bigfoot away, not knowing that he was gonna literally almost run over one.
Yeah, and so he slammed on the brake, and we never got a chance to talk to him. And
he took off, and he hauled ass even faster.
Yeah,
after that.
So you saw eye shine, and it was tall enough that it wasn't a deer,
right?
And it couldn't have been something up in a tree.
I don't think so, because I think. Because we walked that area, before, and it was a creek bed, and it was surrounded with trees. But the area where it was standing was at a slight embankment down. So whatever was standing in there was probably had to be pretty tall. So you could clearly see that it was in that creek bed, but not in the trees. So
that is interesting. Did you find footprints the next day?
No, we didn't. We
didn't go back the next day. We should have,
because I think afterwards a sheriff pulled up and was asking us questions, and we didn't know the area that well, so we said let's just go. So I would have liked to gone back and maybe look for some footprints. There probably was some, but We just happened to found this place just by habit. And it was one of the very first times I took Steven into the field, and he got activity right away. Cause I would tell him, I said, if I, it would take me sometimes it would take me 6 months, Wes, to get something in the woods, and, something close enough to even hear. So
Concho was after that, right?
Yes.
Cause I was not scared after that.
Yeah.
Like that was that, cause
that broke you in right there.
That first time going to that area, I was scared because I was all like, it's a cemetery in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And then there's Bigfoot there. Well, shit, this is my last time being on this earth. And then Robert he kept messing with me very light. It wasn't like bad, but he's saying, he goes, no, I got flashlights, but did I put batteries in it? Yeah, I put batteries in it. I brought the spotlight too, but did I charge it?
Thanks, Uncle Bob.
But I don't think I charged it. I was like, God dang it!
It's called. We were just hazing him.
That's funny.
So
Yeah,
we haze the new guy all the time.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I've been in the woods, I've camped and hiked and all that, and when you're out in the woods, especially at night, everything sounds big, right?
It does. It does.
Something runs through the brush. So I watch those Bigfoot shows, and they hear something, they go, it sounds big. And it always cracks me up because I'm like, it's probably a squirrel.
Or an armadillo.
Yeah, there's
or an armadillo. Yeah.
There's been some times where I thought something was plowing through the woods, and it was like a raccoon or something.
Yeah.
But the eye shine being that high is interesting to me, and the rocks. I mean, I don't really know how you explain that. So that's, that type of firsthand experience is something that I've never had personally, but somebody that I know and trust tells me, I mean, I believe you.
It's the perfect distraction. That's what it was. It's one of the things that I think whenever you used to be in
TBRC?
No, TBRC. Whenever you would be at Mike's property.
You're right. Okay.
And they weren't like, it was big rocks thrown at you. It was like,
they were huge.
They were huge. And you would see it rolling down into the campfire, and you'd be like, oh shit, that's huge.
Yeah.
There's no way someone could throw that and it.
Right.
Yeah. Most of the areas that we would go to, West, was like pretty secluded. We didn't tell anybody where we're going. We didn't post it. We would just go.
So you're not in somebody's backyard.
No, this area that we used to go to in Oklahoma, it was in the Kiamichi Mountains, and you had to own property to go up there. I mean, there was a guard at the front gate, and you had, they had to know who you were, and you had to have your raise the gate, and you would go inside. So sometimes there wouldn't be like anybody up in the mountain then whenever we were out there doing stuff. And so yeah, we would get that sometime at night. Like we would be like in this cabin, and we would in the middle of the night something would run up and just slap the back of the cabin and then take off.
That would piss me off. That would legit piss me off. If I was sleeping so good, bam.
And you're sure that it wasn't Tim? Tim was in his bed.
No, it wasn't Tim.
Oh man, there's always that funny story with Ken.
That pesky Tim.
Oh man,
Cassius Clay.
Mm-hmm. God damn, it's right there by the door. It's right here by the door.
So I was going to ask you, Wes, have you had any paranormal stuff happen to you?
I've had a couple of things things that I can't explain. I think I told this story. If you don't mind me sharing it.
No,
on the show.
Absolutely.
So my dad is a pastor. Grew up as the son of a pastor, son of a preacher, and the house that we lived in at one church he was the pastor of was on the same city block as the church, and we got a new youth pastor, and his house was also on the same block. So the parsonage, which is where the pastor lives, the church, and then across the way was the youth pastor's house. And the youth pastor, he was trying to get to know all the teenagers and all the kids, and said, you can always stop by if you see my car here and hang out. And this guy started showing up at his house at all times, and he thought this was one of the teenagers from the church. It was not. It was just a guy who had recently graduated high school. I think he was into some weird stuff, and he started hanging around, and he started coming like at all hours. He would knock on the youth pastor's window like late at night, just tapping on his window. And it got to be where it was really freaking him out. So then the kid would start coming to church, and he was a really talented artist. He could really draw. And so he would draw pictures, and all the kids from church would say, hey, could you draw me a picture of my favorite athlete or of a tiger? He would take requests, he would work on it, he would give it to the kids. Well, one time my dad, he pulled me aside and he said, "Look, Wes, I don't ever want you to be alone with that guy." And I was like, "Okay, why?" And he's like, "He's into some stuff that's not good, and I just don't want you to be near him." And I said, "Okay." So a couple weeks pass, and I have that in the back of my mind. And one Sunday night, church gets over. We had a church service, and it was over, and my parents went home, and I was hanging out with the other kids, and choir practice was starting, and I look up, and it's just me and this kid left in the sanctuary. And I remember what my dad said, and I was like, "I can't be here. I got to leave." So I get up, and I walk out the side of the church. And when I walk out the side of the church, he's standing right in front of me. And I go, "Oh, huh." And so I backtrack. I go through the church. I go out the front door of the church, and I go to the side of the church. And when I exit that side, guess who's standing right there in front of me?
What the heck?
Yeah. And I'm like, this is not good. Like, by this point, I'm terrified. Okay. So, long story short, I end up cutting through the building again and going around the other way to the point that I'm on the end of the block from my house, the opposite end of the block. And the only way that this kid could get to where I was or past me, I just don't know how it would be physically possible. Let me put it that way. And so I start running, trying to get home. And I get toward my house, and standing under the street light at the end of the road is the same kid. And it doesn't make any sense. I don't know how to explain it to this day. I sound like a crazy person just saying it. But he was there, and there's no physical way that it was possible for him to have gotten back where he was all the way around the entire block to that point. Physically, it's just not possible. But he was there, and it scared me to death. So I sprinted back into the church, and I locked myself in my dad's office. I mean, I was like a, 6th or 7th grader. And I called my father just hysterical. And he had to come to the office and like physically carry me home. I was just beside myself, sobbing, trying to explain what was going on. And I still don't know what happened. I don't know what this kid was into or what was going on. I know a few weeks after that, he called my house repeatedly, like at 2 a.m. And finally, my dad answered the phone. And this kid was begging and pleading my dad. He's like, "Hey, I've got to get into the sanctuary. I have to be in the sanctuary. I have to be in the sanctuary. I have to go to the altar. I have to pray." And my dad's like, "It's 2:00 in the morning. I'll pray for you over the phone. I'll meet you tomorrow. But, you're not coming to the church right now." And the kid was just begging him, "Please let me in. I've got to get in. I've got to get into the church." So that is actually one of the only paranormal type experiences I've had personally. I heard rumors about what this kid was into, the things that he, was doing. I to this day, I don't know him. Don't know what happened to him. Mm-hmm. But man, it was the scariest thing I've ever experienced.
How old was this kid?
He was like 20. He was just a year or two out of high school. He still looked like a high schooler, but he was actually a little bit older.
I'm curious whenever you were attempting to get out of the sanctuary on all, like whenever he was blocking you, what type of facial feature did he have? Did he look angry? Did he look happy? What was that about?
Man, no, he looked emotionless. I mean, he looked like he was just staring blankly, just looking right ahead.
You could see his eyes, right? They weren't black.
Yeah. No, I didn't see anything like that. He looked like just his regular self, but. I don't know. You meet some people and you get a sense of their energy is off. Mm-hmm. Always felt that way about this kid, and then for him to be all the way at the other end of the block under the street lamp. I mean, since then I brought it up to my dad, and he's like, "I remember that. I don't know what you saw. I believe you." He's like, "But that's not really possible. Maybe you just saw something."
He didn't look like out of breath or anything, like from running or nothing, right?
No, he was just standing there. Just standing there.
Did he say anything to you?
No, not a word. And I mean, look, Usain Bolt could not have made that run.
Right.
I mean, I cut diagonally through the building to get away from this kid, went behind the other building, and he was already at the other end of the street blocking my path again.
Did he have like a bike or anything that you know about? A skateboard? Or not trying to debunk you, just trying to...
Yeah. No, he was on foot.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
No, that right there, to be messing, if he's that old during that time and he's messing with a 6th, 7th grader, that's like what, 12?
Mm-hmm.
12 years old?
Yeah.
That's just not not a good energy. Not a
Yeah,
good person.
what kind of got me was that he was trying to get back into the sanctuary
At 2 a.m.
At 2 a.m. and
2
then
in the morning.
and then knocking on the youth pastor's window. At
Yeah,
night.
see right there, that's where I kind of just draw the line on that.
I mean, legitimately, it got to the point where some of the men from the church, and you know, a church is open to anybody. Like they want
Right.
people to be there. They don't tell people not to come to church. But it got to the point where 3 or 4 of the men, after one of the Sunday night services, just pulled him aside and basically told him, "You're not welcome here." And after that, I never saw the kid again. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I hope he got
I can't
help.
explain it.
I hope he got help.
I hope so too.
I hope so.
But he was into some dark stuff, and I don't see a demon behind every bush. I'm not saying the guy was possessed, but I'm saying that I saw him somewhere that did not make physical sense, and it was the single most terrifying moment of my entire life.
Man,
That is
Yeah.
pretty scary.
that is pretty scary.
That's like some unsolved mysteries.
Do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Robert
ever-
Stack. That man was creepy too.
Robert Stack.
That's who I'm named after. I'm serious. My mom named me after him because that was her favorite.
No, she
actor.
didn't.
She
No,
did.
she
I
didn't.
swear.
That is hilarious.
Because like I was supposed to be named Jesus, and I had a cousin who was born 14 days before I was, so he got to be named Jesus. My mom's favorite actor at the time was Robert Stack. Her second favorite actor was Charlie Bronson, so she named me Robert Jesus.
So now
So,
Robert
instead
Charlie
of-
Bronson.
Instead of naming you after the Christ, she picked the guy from Unsolved Mysteries. Okay.
Well, he
All
was
right.
at the time he was on The Untouchables, so
Oh, okay.
she
Okay.
loved him on that. So
Hey, the guy was good at what he did.
He was- he was.
His voice gave me nightmares as a child.
yeah, he was.
If you have any information on the unsolved mysteries, like,
hey, that's pretty good.
Steven, you're creeping me out,
Yeah,
man.
Steven-
You have to remember,
Yeah,
I'm sitting in the shed right now by myself in my backyard. So to talk about these things is a little bit creepy.
yeah, that's you're braver than I will say that, because I wouldn't. I'd be like, let's talk about rainbows or something. Ice cream. Let's talk about ice cream. Yeah, what's your favorite type of ice cream?
So, what was your second story? Did you have a second story?
Yeah, the only other thing that I would label, and again, I grew up in the church, so this is another church story, and I don't know if this fits necessarily the bill of paranormal, but I had a buddy that I played basketball with in high school, and his dad was also a pastor. I think he owned like a plumbing business or something also, but he was a pastor at a local Pentecostal church, one of the holy roller, run up and down the aisle kind of churches, and they were having this guy come in to do like a youth revival. And so they invited me to this youth revival. And I was like, all right, I'll go with my buddy. And we're there. We get to the end of the service. The guy's doing his altar call. And, he had a story. I mean, he was like, I used to be on every drug. I was demon possessed, all this stuff. But then I gave my heart to Jesus, all this kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there like, hey, I'm already in the church. I already know the Lord, whatever. I'm not affected by this. Well, then he starts calling people out, and he's like saying, you need the Lord for this reason, or this is going on in your life. And I'm just sitting there waiting. Like, I dare this guy to try and call me out. And I'm just going to tell everybody he's a fraud. He's a phony, And then, sure enough, I'm sitting there with my head bowed, and he's like, there's a young man in a blue shirt. And I didn't raise my head, but I'm thinking like, oh no, I have on a blue shirt. Please don't be me. And he says, someone tapped the young man in the blue. And I'm like, somebody's tapping me. Crap. So I raise my head and I look up, and sure enough, he's looking right at me. He says, young man, please come forward. I have a word from the Lord for you. And I'm like, oh, sure you do, buddy. And so I go up there and I kneel down at the altar. And the dude leans over. And he doesn't do it on the microphone. It's not like a big show. But he leans over in my ear. And he whispers to me all the stuff that I had just prayed about silently in my head. At the time I was in college, I was facing some decisions, some things that I was trying to work out in my life. And I had said a couple prayers about those things, what my concerns were. And he just said every one of them to me that I had just said quietly in my own head, not stuff that I had shared with anybody, not things that I had told my friend. He just told me all of them. And then he's like, and this is what you need to do about each of them. And I just was like, oh my gosh, this is real. This guy's not a fraud. This guy's not just making stuff up. Like, he knew somehow the things that I had just prayed about in my own head. and it freaked me out.
Did that whenever he did that and told you what you needed to do? Did you go and do it? Did it change you?
I actually did. It was a couple things. There was and it wasn't anything like earth shattering. There was I was thinking about changing majors and adding a second major. I was thinking about this Bible study group that I was driving home to teach on weekends. I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep doing that. Just some things like that. And so he's like, this friend group, you need to let go. And, you do need to add that second major, and the Bible study that you're concerned about, just know that you're making a difference. And I was like, this is wild.
That is wild.
So, that was, I don't know if that qualifies as paranormal, but it's definitely not in my understanding.
Right.
Yeah,
and,
and
it was freaky. It was freaky. I wouldn't mind never experiencing it again.
Wow.
Yeah, that's.
Did you ever tell your dad about that?
Yeah, I went right home. I was like, hey, tell me what just happened. He just kind of laughed. He's like, yeah. He's like, some people have that gift. It's something that the Lord gives to people, to use for their benefit.
Wow.
And I was like, It was wild.
That's weird.
That is weird.
So I've had a couple of things like that. I've never anything with ghosts, never anything where I felt, other than with that kid, where I felt threatened. Never seen Bigfoot. Never seen a UFO. I've always been interested in those things. I'm open to them. But yeah, that's about the extent of my experience.
How about your wife? Does your wife have any paranormal stuff?
My wife doesn't believe in any of it.
But
she says all the time, she's like, you should have me on your show, and I'll just be like, nope, it's not real. And I'm like, that would be a crappy show. Yeah.
Well, it's like my wife. She goes, I don't fuck with the dead. She says.
Yeah, she says all.
So whenever we're talking about that, she's like, why are you talking about that? You don't fuck with the dead. I go, I'm talking about UFO. Like, what? That's not the dead.
Yeah, she gets upset about something.
Yeah.
Shout out to Blair Dominguez.
Shout out to Blair Dominguez.
So
you heard it here.
So did you? Chris was on a couple weeks ago, maybe like a month ago. Chris Cobbs came back on. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you knew that, Wes. He came back on and he did a.
I don't think I've heard that one yet.
Yeah, he came back on. It's titled Bigfoot Sex.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
I don't know how we got into Bigfoot Sex, but somehow we did, and it was just.
It went from a glowing penis to his. It's a good question. It was like, hey, Bigfoot's mate, right? And we're like, yeah,
they got to have sex.
And he goes, so. Has there ever been an encounter where a camper's out there and he hears two things howling? He goes out there and it's two Bigfoots fucking.
Yeah.
Like, I go, man, if that happens, I think we both said, like, if that happens, you get out of there. You go get a lotto ticket, because you just not only see one, you saw two.
And then they're having sex.
And then they're having sex. So, and it looks like they're having a good time, and you didn't care to join in or anything like that or mess that up.
That's weird.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I
don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, I don't either. So
we're like,
I don't know how we got into it. I think Chris asked a question and we
went from there.
We just went into it. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we're talking about this.
I can't believe we're talking about it.
That's the thing about your show. The banter and the conversation, you never know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You never know. It should be like that for all podcasts.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because it's authentic. You're just talking.
You got any guests coming on? Coming on soon that you want to promote or anything like that?
Man, I've been so busy in 2023. I think I've only put out like 4 or 5 episodes. I try to do a show a week is the goal, but I really haven't had that much time. I'm excited to be on this show. This is my first foray into anything podcasting in the last like 3 or 4 weeks. But I have a few guests lined up in the next 6 months or so. There's a local TV anchor that I'm going to have on. There's one of my buddies that does music I'm going to have on. Maybe I'll have you on again soon.
Or maybe even Terry Kegel.
Or Terry, listen. From your porch to my shed. We're both in Alabama. Let's make it happen, Terry. This is your official invite.
The perfect plug-in right there.
It is.
From your porch to my shed.
Let's do it.
Uh-huh.
He does. He has like politicians on his show. Like,
I've been very impressed with some of the folks he's had on.
Yeah, I have too. I mean, I will say this, probably one of the most emotional one that on your show. I can't think of her name, and please forgive me. But it was the classmate that you had that was the same sex. She was having issues with it.
Yeah.
That show, I was crying, man. I was crying on that show because I had so much passion for her. And
yeah, that was my friend Chelsea Glasgow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we were friends in middle school, and I don't even know. I think she used to be on Facebook, and so I would keep up with her and her story and kind of how things had gone. And I just kind of thought, that'd be a good podcast for her to get her story out there and talk about all she's been through, because her family wasn't very accepting, and she went through what do they call the therapy where it's supposed to straighten you out or whatever,
right?
And she had a hard time, and she's really come through it awesomely. She's got a wife that loves her. They have a kid that they've adopted. Just a powerful story.
I think I tweeted you, or I emailed you. That was powerful.
Yeah, she did a great job.
She did, and you did a great job too. So I mean,
thank you.
So it was great. I loved it. I love your show. I hope that you do more, because I need to get caught up on the politics stuff. So and
sports.
And Putin.
For Bob to say that he gets his news from my show only is just astounding. That can't be a good idea. That can't.
No, because I mean, with the
way in the shed with Wes Anderson said.
I'm telling you, people are like, who, where, what?
It's a reliable source. Check him out.
And then like 13 people in India are like, oh yes, he is the best. Yeah. I mean, I am a journalist.
You are a journalist.
I did a poll on Twitter 2 years ago, and there were 7 votes, and 4 people said yes. So
how many followers do you have on Twitter?
I think we're at like 8,000.
Jeez, man, I think I only have like 70.
I think Bigfoot Club has maybe 300. I don't know.
Wow, thanks. It's rubbing in my face. I think we got like 300. I have 76 followers.
It doesn't always equate to listeners, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. But I found kind of a little community on Twitter. That's the one social media that we do for the show, and I've really connected with some cool people over there. And that's something that's really, really cool about the indie podcast world. I've never actually reached out to somebody to be a guest on the show and had them say no. People are so kind. It started with, having Bob on my show actually gave me confidence, because for me, I don't know how many episodes I recorded at the time, like 25 or something. And he said yes. And I'm like, really? Like, you will be on my show? Like, for real? And so from that point forward, I shoot my shot, man. If there's somebody I want to have on to talk about something, I'm sliding into your DMs.
I would just say, I don't. When I say this, I don't want to sound mean or nothing, but I listen to your show. When you ask me, I listen to your show. I go, this is a good show. I've had dudes reach out to me, and some of their shows are bad, like really bad. And I go, no, I can't do that.
Like they're using like one of those mics where, like, I guess the perfect one would be that one. It's a good mic. It just picks up everything.
Yeah,
everything.
There's this.
And they share one mic.
Yeah, there's one dude. I'm not gonna say who it is.
Yeah,
I don't want to call him out because
I think we're talking about the same guy.
Yeah, so there's like 5 guys on his show.
Oh,
and is there burgers and fries?
Maybe.
With that perfect seasoning on there, Cajun
seasoning fries,
the best, man.
So
that's the best.
I've been asked to do his show. I go, I can't do it, guy. I'm really busy. Yeah. I'm sorry. I can't. Because I'm assuming you get a lot of people that want to be on your show, or people that reach out to you.
Especially from
India.
do.
I actually haven't had anybody from India. I would love that. Like,
that would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be.
I should have Ramesh on the show.
You should. You should do it for your anniversary show.
Yep.
That would be dope. That may be my 100th episode.
Yes.
There you go.
I actually had I had one guy, and he sent me a message about being on the show. He was like, I really like what you do. I love the fact that you're not super conservative. You're not super liberal. You just kind of share the news and give your opinion. He's like, I do politics. I'd love to come on your show. And I thought, hey, this is really cool. And then I listened to his show, and I'm pretty sure he's in the KKK.
Oh.
It was bigotry and hatred. And I was like, oh, my. No, you cannot be on my show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got.
And then he sent me like 3 follow-up messages. So when are we going to do this? And finally, I was like, hey, listen, not happening. Not happening.
Yeah, that's...
What's his name?
Say it. Say it, Wes. No, you don't have to.
I'm kidding. But really, I'm not.
Starts with a C.
Ends with
That's as far as I'm going.
Ends with a T.
Ends with a T. Oh Lord.
My favorite thing was when I listened to your show a while back, and I know I've talked about this on my show since then. I actually played the clip of you guys talking about it, but I was sitting on my back porch and I just was, sitting out there at night. Kids were in bed, wife was in bed, had a glass of sweet tea, was just hanging out, and I turned on the podcast, listened to you guys, and was catching up a little bit, and then lo and behold, you guys start talking about my show. And I was like, what in the world? And then the 2 funniest things were Bob's impression of how I'll laugh at something that I find to be funny, because he's exactly right. Like, I do that every episode multiple times, and I can't help it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was when Steven was talking about how I had such a nice voice. Look, I hate hearing my voice. I don't think that I have a nice voice to be recorded. So when Steven was talking about how good my voice was, I played that for the missus, and she was rolling. She thought it was so funny. She's like, "You're going to get a big head." And I was like, "Hey, we're already there."
If it makes you feel any better, I was the same way. Especially when I stream, I was like, man, I don't know how I'm going to sound, how I'm going to look.
Yeah.
I don't like my voice, and it took me a while. And I was like, you know what? A lot of people has told me, like, hey, you actually have a good voice, like,
Yeah.
So, and then you did.
You both do. Yeah, you both
thanks.
have good voices.
And it's funny because, like, a lot of people say, like, we kind of sound alike.
Yeah.
So especially when people would call and he, Robert pretend to be me, and what gave it away was him trying too hard.
Yeah.
I think if he just casually just talked, they would have been like, "Hey, Steven, how's it going?" And there were many times where your friends, your old friends, would call your house, and I would answer, Hey, Robert, what's going? Hey, you gonna come over and watch the fight? We got beers, we got gals over here, we got to see some tits.
No. Say the way he really said it.
That's how he was saying it.
Okay.
Like, he was like saying, like, we got girls over here, we got some some titties and all that shit. And I was like, I was like 6 or 7 or something like that. I was like, what? And I was like, hey, I think it's Jason. I think it's. Oh shit, my bad. Hey, what's going? Did the whole spiel to you?
Yeah, or even like whenever Blair calls your phone, I answer it, and she goes, "Hey, babe, what's up?" And I go, "Hi, this is Steven."
I was like, I have a deep voice now.
Like you have to announce yourself.
Yeah. Oh, and then you would do it when my friends would call. Oh, I'm just doing homework. It's like, okay, this isn't Steven. He would never do homework.
Hi, this is Steven.
Yeah, stupid man. But so no, funny. to go back to it is that, I was like, I like my voice now. I don't sound like Sean Connery or anything, but you do have a very smooth, sweet voice.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because people that know me, if they listen to my show, it cracks them up because it's not really. If I'm just talking to you conversationally, this isn't necessarily how I sound, and they think I'm putting on like an act or something, or a character. And I try to explain to them, no, it's that I'm sitting 6 inches in front of a microphone. I don't have to project my voice. You're having a conversation, you project your voice.
Right.
But if you're 6 inches in front of a microphone, you're actually talking very softly. You don't have to really talk loudly. And the microphone picks you up, so you naturally have a little bit deeper, a little bit more smooth of a voice. But yeah, I mean, it took me a while just to get over the fact that people putting out a podcast, people are going to hear your voice, and that's okay. It's all right.
Well, I'm super happy to have you on. Super honored. And I wanted to, because I know this was part of your predictions for this year, right?
I think so. I think I said I would be a guest on a show or two. Yeah.
Right. So we got to get you on Terry's. And so
help me check that box.
Yeah. So, because I know you made some predictions. I can't remember them all. I think one of them. I know one of them was like, I go, man, I'm gonna fulfill that one for him. So
that's awesome. I appreciate that.
We did do this one, and you had good stories. Especially, I don't know. I'm gonna have a hard time sleeping about.
Yeah,
that one was just straight up creepy. It's not. Well, in your shoes, it was terrifying.
Yeah, to be
like,
your age at that time.
At that time, especially that late at night too. Like, red flags everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's just one of those things where I pray to God that doesn't happen to me. Like just weird stuff like that. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a demon or a ghost or anything like that. It's just an individual that just gives you the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah,
I just said that.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's terrifying.
And look, I don't know. I mean, I've thought about every possible way that could have happened, or I could have, but I mean, to this day, I remember it so vividly. There was no doubt I saw that dude, and there's no possible human way where he could have been where he was to get from one.
I wonder what his deal was with you.
So I don't know what to make of it, but what's that?
I wonder what his deal was especially with you. Why why you were so important.
I don't know.
I hadn't thought about that. Thank you for that nightmare.
Well, obviously that was a long time ago, and it's
I mean, just pray about it. Just pray about it. So
I'll go ask that pastor that could read my mind, and he'll tell me.
Yeah, there you go.
Another creepy thing. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah,
we've been going.
Well, hey,
go ahead.
Let me ask you this: you guys talk about paranormal. You talk about Bigfoot. What do y'all make of like all this stuff with UFOs lately? It seems like the government's finally taking it seriously. I mean, is there there?
You know, I think, to be honest with you, it's just my deal. I think it's a misdirection. It's a misdirection for them not, for the government to do something. I don't know. To this day, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the Epstein stuff or I don't know. It's just like, I mean, we rarely talk about stuff like this. So, I mean, I think we used to do a play in high school. It was called 44 Green Bay. Faked one way, went the other. So I think it's what I that's just my opinion. Steven?
Yeah. I definitely do think that they exist. Something out there exists on that. But I always refer it back to it's really not UFOs. It's us from the future.
Yeah.
And they're doing a little. There's always that.
Ooh, Steven. I like that.
Yeah. I always thought of it as it's us from the future, and it's a class, like either college or something like that, where they go in time travel, and they go and they say, this is the Earth, how it is in this year. This is where this is at. This is where, because it's always like some place like California, or
okay,
I almost had to do Arnold there. I don't know why, or like just like in rural areas where it's not too populated, right. But they go there and I just think it's just like a class trip. This is
or it could be they're coming back to correct something or to check on something, and
right. It could be that, but
quantum leap there.
They're a little too late on September 11th, so I need them to fix that.
Yeah,
because I've always been a big thing on, like, I've always liked the idea of changing something super bad like that, but I know there's always a bad.
Okay, Barry Allen. Yeah,
there's always a bad outcome of that, but that's what I think. To answer your question, that's what.
Wes, how about you?
Well, the thing that's weird to me is the videos over and over from like military personnel and stuff where the UFO goes down into the ocean. That's what's always been weird to me. It's like, what is that all about? This may not be something from outer space. If it's going down into the ocean and back up into the sky at speeds that we can't really match with our technology, is there some type of other civilization that already exists around us that we're unaware of?
It's possible.
Man, this almost sounds like the show In the Shed with Wes Anderson.
It does. So it sounds like The Abyss.
Yeah,
if you really think about it,
it's a good movie.
Sorry for the takeover.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's totally fine.
No, it's just there's definitely something out there. Even was it Blair, I won't say his name, but Blair's uncle who did the FAA. He has some stories where
Tim.
No, not Tim. Not Tim. Not Cassius Clay. But he worked at the FAA, and he would always get those type of reports, and he would be like, "Just tell me where you're going. Like, you can report it, but you know." He would brush it aside and just focus on, you know.
Yeah.
So there's
I don't know, my brother-in-law is a engineer, and he works in Huntsville, which is where Huntsville, Alabama, where NASA is. And so I'm always asking him, like, "Hey, what are you working on? What's going on over there?" And he just laughs at me. He's like, "I can't really talk about it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Can you?
So I don't know. Yeah, I should have him on. Yeah,
you should.
But I don't know. There's something there, but I think you both might be right. I think that there's a good possibility that what the government shares is a misdirection. But I don't know what the purpose would be or why. We may never know. Who knows? Maybe UFOs and Bigfoot and all this other stuff that we can't explain, it might all have a singular explanation.
It might, but
I would feel better if they open up Groom Lake, and I know they won't. You know, so. But that's just me. That's just me talking. So.
And we love it when you talk.
Oh, come on.
We do, Bob.
We're at 1 minute and 13 seconds.
I think you can do something.
I think I
was
can
going to make that joke.
Were you really?
I was waiting.
Hey,
I was waiting to make that joke.
I was going to ask you, where does Bigfoot Club listeners find In the Shed with Wes Anderson?
You can find us on Twitter at InTheShed4, or you can find us wherever you find your podcasts. We would appreciate it if you give us a listen, a share, a like, a review, a follow. And we're also on YouTube. We're over there on YouTube. We're audio only, so we don't really get a lot of traffic on YouTube. And you can email the show if you have any stories about paranormal experiences you've had or any opinions about politics or sports that you'd like to share. You can email the show at intheshedwithwes@gmail.com. And I love reading those emails on air, so please hit me with your stories.
I know I sent you some emails about the X-Men, right? Do you remember that?
You did, yes, sir.
You were talking about the X-Men and stuff, and so anyway, I was being a nerd then. Wes, I really mean this. I would really love you to come back on, man, because I think we had a really, really good time. I really appreciate you a lot.
Mm-hmm. As do I. So you already know. I like you. I love you. Actually,
Steven likes me.
Yes.
He really likes me.
Yes, he likes me.
No.
You really like me.
All right, guys.
Listen, you guys are the best. Just to be on your show is an absolute honor. Love what you guys do. Love the family feel and the rapport that y'all have. The relationship that you have kind of bleeds that over into your show. And I'm just a fan of everything you guys do, and I support you. So anytime I can have you on as a guest or I can do anything to support your show, I'm here for it.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Wes. Thank you so much.